you muddy fugglers, get in here, sit down and behave yourselves. We're going to read some news. AI video only really started to kick off a couple of years ago. And in some instances now, it's so lifelike that it is very difficult to tell whether it's real or not. We are on the cusp of some very interesting media, I think. But how are we going to actually ring fence and separate what is real and what isn't real? Well, on this article on CNET, written by Caitlin Chowdhury, AI slop is destroying the internet. These are the people fighting to save it. On the front line of the war on AI, these people are fighting for a better internet. Roseanne Pansino has been sharing her baking creations with the internet for over 15 years, hoping to delight and inspire with fun creations that include Star Wars star cake and holographic chocolate bars. But in her latest series, she has a new goal: kick AI's butt. Blame it on the AI slop overwhelming her social media feeds. Pansino used to see posts from real bakers and friends. Now they're being crowded out by AI-generated clips. There's a whole new genre of slop videos that feature food, including a bizarre trend of unlikely objects being spread satisfyingly on toast. She decided to do something about it. She put her years of skills side by side with AI to recreate these slop videos in real life. For instance, a pile of sour gummy peach rings effortlessly smeared on toast. The AI video looks simple enough, but Pansino needed to create something entirely new. Maybe almost a bit like that show Is It Cake or Not? She used butter as her base, infused with peach-flavored oil. Yellow and orange food coloring gave it the right pastel hues. She carefully piped the butter into rings using a silicone mold, and after they hardened in the freezer, she used uncolored butter to glue two rings together in the right 3D shape. The final touch was to dunk them in a mixture of sugar and citric acid for that sour candy look and taste. It worked. The butter rings were perfect replicas of real candy rings, and Pansino's video paralleled the AI version exactly, with the rings smoothly gliding across the toast. Most importantly, she had done what she set out to do. The internet is flooded with AI slop, and I wanted to find a way to fight back against it in a fun way, Pansino tells me. It's a rare victory for humans as AI-generated slop inundates an online world that had, once upon a time, been built by humans for humans. AI technology has been working behind the scenes on the internet for years, often in unnoticeable ways. Then, a few years ago, generative AI burst onto the scene, launching a transformation that has unfolded at a breakneck speed. With it came a flood of AI slop, a term given to particularly lukewarm AI-generated text, image, and videos that are inescapable online, from search engines to publishing and social media. AI slop is a shabby imitation of content, often a pointless, careless regurgitation of existing information. It's error-prone, with summaries proudly proclaiming made-up facts and papers citing fake credentials. Images tend to have a slick plastic veneer, while brain-rot videos struggle to obey basic laws of physics. Think fake bunnies on trampolines and AI overviews advising you to put glue on pizza. I think that would actually be a redlining issue there. If it's advising you to do something toxic with food, that would be a poisoning issue. The vast majority of US adults who use social media, 94%, believe they see AI-generated content when scrolling, a new CNET study found. Well, you do now, particularly if you're on Facebook. Only 11% found it entertaining, useful, and informative. Well, I'm one of those. I'm one of those weirdos. It's funny. There's often compilations of puppies doing cute things, and then occasionally you'll find one which is like, hang on, that puppy is ridiculous. What's that puppy doing? That's not a real puppy. That's a fake puppy. So what's going on here? Net confident, net not confident. US adults who use social media. Okay. Well, if you didn't know the tells, you would be dragged into it, that's for sure. Slop happens because AI makes it quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever to create content at an unimaginable scale. OpenAI's Sora, Google's Nano Banana, and Meta AI create videos, image, and text with a few clicks of a button. Experts have loudly voiced concerns about AI's impact on the environment, the economy, the workforce, misinformation, children, and other valuable folks. It's a whole laundry list. They've cited its ability to further biases, supercharge scams, and harm human creativity, but nothing has slowed down the rapid adoption and scaling of AI. It's overtaking the human creators, artists and writers whose work fuels the very existence of these models. AI slop is an oil spill in our digital oceans, but there are a lot of people working to clean it up. Many are fighting for better ways to identify and label AI content, from memes to deep fakes. Creators are pushing for better media literacy and changing how we consume media. Publishers, scientists, and researchers are testing new strategies to keep bad information from gaining traction and credibility. Developers are building havens from slop with AI-free online spaces. Are they going to be the most boring places to be, though? Legislation and regulation, or lack of it, play a role in each potential solution. We won't ever be completely rid of AI, but all these efforts are bringing some community back to the internet. Pansimo's recreations of AI videos highlight the painstakingly detailed hard work that goes into creation. Way more than typing a prompt and clicking generate. Human creativity is one of the most important things we have in the world, says Pansino. And if AI drowns that out, what do we have left? That's a good point. The internet was built on videos such as Charlie Bit My Finger, Grumpy Cat, and the Evolution of Dance. I know the other ones, but I do remember Charlie Bit My Finger. Ow, Charlie, ow! No! These innocuous AI posts are why some people on social media see slop as entertainment or a new kind of internet culture. Even when videos are very obviously AI, people don't always mind if they're perceived as harmless and fun. But slop is never benign. Oh no, it's always sludgy. You see slop because it's being forced upon you, not because you've indicated to the algorithm that you love it. Really? If you were to sign up for a new YouTube account today, a third of the first 500 YouTube shorts shown to you would be some form of AI slop content, according to a report from Capwing, a maker of online video tools. There are over 1.3 billion videos labeled as AI generated on TikTok as of February. Slop is baked into our scrolling the same way microplastics are a default ingredient in our food. Needs better labeling. 51% should be allowed on social media under strict regulation. Provides little to no value, should be prohibited. Provides meaningful value, none of these. Why even bother tracking this? These are the attitudes towards increasing presence of AI content. Well, it's getting more authentic looking, so people are going to use it more. I've seen some really great stuff on X from some accounts that are doing episodic story-based content with it, and I might have to join in with that. That's pretty cool what they're doing. Pansino compares her experience recreating AI food slop videos to an episode of The Office. In it, Dwight is competing with the company's new website to see if he can make more sales. Dwight single-handedly is outselling the website. He's competing against the machine, Pansino says. That's what I feel like when I'm baking against AI. It's a nice rush. The real test there is, does your authentic version get more views than the faked version? I don't know. The Office fans may recall that Dwight wins at the end of the episode, and later, because of massive errors and fraud, the site's creator Ryan is fired. Her 21 million plus followers across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have cheered on her AI recreation series, which Pansino attributes to her own frustrations with seeing slop on their feeds. Plus, her creations are actually edible. We're getting dimensions that AI never could, she says. Yes. I think some of the problems, though, are baked in. They're there so that we can tell that it's AI. Other creators have emerged as reality checkers. Jeremy Carrasco, Show Tools AI, uses his background as a technical video producer to debunk viral AI videos. His team would live stream events for businesses working to avoid errors, which has helped him more easily spot when AI erroneously mimics video qualities such as lens flares. His educational videos help his more than 870,000 Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok followers recognize these abnormalities. Analyzing a video's context, Carrasco points out telltale signs of generative AI, such as weird jump cuts and continuity issues. He also finds the first time a video was shared by a real person or a slop account. Everyone can do this, but it's hard when you're being emotionally baited by slop. Carrasco says, most people aren't spending their time analyzing videos like I am, so if it hits their subconscious signaling, this looks real, their brain might shut off there. Carrasco says, slop producers don't want you to second guess what you're seeing. They want you to get emotional. Whether that's delighted by bunnies on a trampoline or outraged by political memes. And to argue in the comments and to share the video with your friends. I mean, that's the same thing for all social media content. The goal for many producers of AI slop is to engage and therefore monetize. The Capwing report estimates the top slop accounts are pulling in millions of dollars of ad income per year. They're just like the original engagement farmers and rage baiters on Twitter. What's old is now AI powered. It can be difficult for the online platforms we rely on to identify AI images and videos. To weed out the worst offenders, the accounts that mass produce sloppy spam, some platforms encourage their real users to add verifications to their accounts. LinkedIn has some success here with over 100 million of its members adding these new verifications, but AI makes it hard to keep up. People are using AI-powered community automation tools to make AI-generated posts and leave comments across hundreds of random accounts in a fraction of the time it would take to do so manually. Groups of these users are called engagement pods. Oscar Rodriguez, Vice President of Trust Products at LinkedIn, tells me. The company has removed hundreds of LinkedIn groups that display these engagement farming behaviors in just the past few months, but identifying them is hard. I don't think LinkedIn is a very good social media network, though. Is it not just a job searching platform, job boasting platform? Take AI-generated images, for example. Many people use AI to create new headshots to avoid paying for costly photo shoots, and it's not against LinkedIn's rules to use them as profile pictures. So an AI headshot alone isn't enough to warrant suspicion. But if an account has an AI profile photo and has other warning signs like commenting more frequently than LinkedIn internally knows is typical for a human user, that raises red flags. Rodriguez says, to spot AI content, platforms rely on labeling and watermarking. Labeling requires people to disclose that their work was made with AI. If you don't, monitoring systems can attempt to flag it themselves. One of the strongest signals these systems rely on is watermarks, which are invisible signatures applied during content creation and hidden in a piece of content's metadata. They give you more information about how and when something was created. Most watermarking techniques focus on two areas: hardware companies authenticating real content as it's captured, and AI companies embedding signals into their synthetic AI-generated media when it's created. The Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity is a major advocacy group trying to standardize how synthetic media is watermarked with content credentials. Many, but not all, AI models are compatible with C2PA's framework. That means its verification tool can't flag every piece of AI-generated media, which creates inconsistency and confusion. Half of US social media users want better labeling, CNET found. That's why other solutions are in the works to fill these gaps. Abe Davies, a computer science professor at Cornell University, led a team that developed a way to embed watermarks in light. All that's needed is to turn on a lamp that uses the necessary chip to run the code. This process is called noise-coded illumination. Any camera that captures video footage of an event where the lighting is shining will automatically add the watermark. Well, how can you take images of anything without light shining? I don't understand what you're saying. Instead of applying the watermark to data that's captured by a specific camera, noise-coded illumination applies it to the light environment. Any camera that's recording that light is going to record the watermark, Davies says. What are you doing? You're adding some subtle variance in the light that could be picked up on surfaces, maybe? But what if those surfaces are extremely weird? Won't that mess with the watermark? The watermark is hidden in the light's frequency spread across a video, undetectable to the human eye and difficult to remove. So in a video then, those with the secret code can decode the watermark and see what parts of a video or image have been manipulated down to the pixel level. This would be especially helpful for live events like political rallies and press conferences, where the speakers are targets for deep fakes. See, before I suggested the idea of having a blockchain that retains information of your generated video or image, and internal to that image you could use some kind of QR code of a very slight color or light variance, you could have it tiled across the entire image or video. And if the variance is so low that you can't actually see it with your naked eyes, it would still be there for any software systems to pick out. So I don't know if you're describing something similar there. It sounds like you are. Like the light itself, is it going to strobe some kind of pattern with information in maybe? Or what? Though it isn't yet commercially available, the research shows the different opportunities to add an extra layer of protection from AI. Watermarking is a kind of collective action problem, Davies says. Everyone would benefit if we implemented all these approaches, but no one individual benefits enough. That's why we have haphazard efforts across multiple industries that are highly competitive and rapidly changing. Labeling and watermarking are important tools for the fight against slop, but they won't be enough on their own. Simply having AI labeling doesn't stop it from filling our lives, but it is a necessary first step. Stem the flood of scientific slop. We covered this before. All of the papers that are being spewed out from these LLMs to help bolster people's resumes. If you think it's easier to single out AI-generated text than images or videos, think again. Publishing is one of the biggest targets of AI slop after social media. Chatbots and Google's AI overviews eat up articles from news sources and other digital publications and spit out wonky and potentially copyright infringing results. AI-powered translation and record-keeping tools threaten the work of translators and historians, but the tech's superficial understanding of cultures and nuances make it a poor substitute. Slop is especially pervasive in academic publishing. In a publish or perish culture like academia, some of it may be unintentionally or mistakenly created, especially by first-time researchers and writers, but it's slipping into mainstream journals, like a now retracted study that went viral for including an obviously incorrect, overly phallic AI-generated image of a rat's reproductive system with many typos. That's one example, albeit a hilarious and easily recognizable one, of how AI is turbocharging bad research, particularly for companies that sell fake research to academic publishers known as paper mills. The respected and widely used republication database ArcZiv is one of the biggest targets for AI slop. Editorial director Ramin Zahib and scientific director Stein Sigurdsson tell me that submissions typically increase about 20% of each year. Now it's getting worrisomely faster, Zahib says. AI is to blame. They say ArcZiv gets around 2,000 submissions a day, half of which are revisions. There's automated screening tools to weed out the most obviously fraudulent or AI-generated studies, but it heavily relies on hundreds of volunteers who review the remaining papers according to their areas of expertise. It's also had to tighten its submission guidelines, adopting an endorsement system to ensure only real people can share research. It's not a perfect fix, Sigurdsson acknowledges, but it's necessary to stem the flow of scientific slop. The corpus of science is getting diluted. A lot of the AI stuff is either actively wrong or it's meaningless. It's just noise, Sigurdsson says. It makes it harder to find what's really happening and it can misdirect people. There's been so much slop that one research group used those fraudulent papers to build a machine learning tool that can recognize it. Adrian Barnett, a statistician and researcher at Queensland University of Technology, was part of the team that used redacted journal papers to train a language model to spot fake and potentially AI-generated studies, specifically for cancer research, sadly, a high target area. Paper mill-created articles have the semblance of a paper, Barnett says. They know what a paper should look like and then they spin the wheel. They might change the disease, they'll change a protein, they'll change a gene, and presto, they've got a new paper. The tool acts like a kind of scientific spam filter. It identifies patterns like commonly used phrases in the templates that chatbots and human fabricators rely on to mimic academia's style. It's one example of how AI technology itself is being used to fight slop. AI versus AI in many cases, but like other AI verification tools, it's limited. It can only identify the templates it was trained on. That's why human oversight is especially important. Humans have gut instincts and subject matter expertise that AI doesn't. For example, ArcZiv's moderators flagged a fake series of submissions because the author's name stuck out to them as too stereotypically British, like characters from Jane Eyre, but the demand for human reviews leads to risk of a death spiral, Zahib said, where reviewers' workloads get larger and more unpleasant, which causes them to stop reviewing, adding stress to remaining reviewers. There is a bit of an arms race between writing AI content and tools for automatically determining it, Zahib says. But at this point in time, I hate to say this, it's a battle we're losing slowly. Yeah, well, the AI is getting more capable, so yes, you need to try and become more capable alongside it. Part of the problem with Slop, if not the entire problem, is that the handful of companies that run our online lives are also the ones building AI. Meta slammed its AI into Instagram and Facebook. Google integrated Gemini into every segment of its vast business, from search to smartphones. X is practically inseparable from Grok. It's very difficult and in some cases impossible to turn off AI on certain devices and sites. Tech giants say they're adding AI to improve our experience, but that means they have a pretty big conflict of interest when it comes to reining in that slop. They're desperate to prove their AI models are sought after and work well. We're the guinea pigs used to inflate their usage stats for their quarterly investor meetings. While some companies have introduced tools to help deal with slop, it's not nearly enough. They aren't overly interested in helping solve the problem they created. Not separate the platforms from the people making the AI, Carrasco says. Do I trust tech companies to have the right compass about AI? No, not at all. Meta and TikTok declined to comment on the record about efforts to rein in AI-generated content. YouTube spokesperson Boot Bullwinkle said, "That's your name? Really? Boot Bullwinkle, that's a good name." They said, AI is a tool for creativity, but it's not a shortcut for quality. And that to prioritize quality experiences, the company is less likely to recommend low quality or repetitive content. Other companies are swerving in the opposite direction. Divine is one of the few AI social media apps, a reimagining of Vine, the short-lived short video service that predated TikTok. Created by Evan Henshaw-Plouffe, with funding from Twitter creator Jack Dorsey, the new video app will include an archive of over 10,000 Vines from the original app. No need to find those Vines compilations on YouTube. It's an appealing blend of nostalgia for a less complicated internet and an alternative reality where slop hasn't taken over. So how are they going to manage whether or not the content that is uploaded is real or not? Are they going to only allow content captured from a device's camera maybe? We're not anti-AI, Divine Chief Marketing Officer Alice Chan says. We just think that people deserve a place they can come where there's a high level of trust and that content they're seeing is real and made by real people. To keep AI videos off the platform, the company is working with the Guardian project to use its identification system called Proof Mode, built on top of the C2PA framework that verifies human-created content. It also plans to work with AI labs to design checks that look at the underlying structure of these videos, Henshaw-Plouffe said in a podcast earlier this year. Divine users will also be able to report if they see AI videos, though it won't allow video uploads when it launches, which should help prevent slop from slipping through. That's what I thought, yeah. Authenticity matters more now than ever, and social media executives know it. On New Year's Eve, Instagram chief Adam Mosseri wrote a lengthy post about needing to return to a raw and imperfect aesthetic, criticizing AI slop and defending AI use in the same paragraph. YouTube CEO Neil Mohan started 2026 with a letter explicitly stating slop is an issue and that platforms need to be reducing the speed of a low-quality, repetitive content. But it's hard to imagine platforms like Instagram and YouTube will be able to return to a truly people-centric, authentic and real culture as long as they rely on algorithmic curation of recommended content, push AI features, and allow people to share entirely AI-generated posts. Apps like Vine, which never demanded perfection or developed AI, might have a fighting chance. Well, Vine is an old app. There wasn't AI back then, so that is why that is not a thing. Politics, misinformation, and slopaganda. AI is a power play in politics, responsible for creating a powerful new aesthetic and influencing opinions, culminating in what's called slopaganda. AI content specifically shared to manipulate beliefs to achieve political ends, as one early study puts it. AI is already an effective tool for influencing our beliefs, according to a recent Stanford University study. Researchers wanted to understand whether people could identify political messages written by AI and measure how effective they are in influencing beliefs. When reading an AI-created message, the vast majority of respondents, 94%, couldn't tell. Those AI-generated political messages were also as pervasive as those written by humans. It's quite difficult to craft these persuasive messages in a way that resonates with people, says Jan Volkel, one of the study's authors. We thought this was quite a high bar for large language models to achieve, and we were surprised by the fact that they were already doing so. It's not necessarily a bad thing that AI can craft influential political messages when done responsibly, but AI can be used by bad actors to spread misinformation, Volkel says. The risk is that one-person misinformation teams can use AI to sway people's opinions while operating more efficiently than before. One way to see the influence and normalization of slop in politics is with imagery. AI memes are a new kind of political commentary, as demonstrated by President Donald Trump and his administration. The White House's AI image of a woman crying while being deported, Trump's AI cartoon videos of himself wearing a crown and flying a fighter jet after nationwide No Kings protests, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's parody book cover of Franklin the Turtle holding a machine gun, shooting at foreign boats, an AI-edited image that altered a woman's face to appear as though she was crying after being arrested for protesting immigration and customs enforcement. Governments have the power to determine whether and how to regulate AI, but legislative efforts have been haphazard and scattered. Individual states have taken action, as in the case of California's AI Transparency Act. Illinois limits on AI therapy, Colorado's algorithmic discrimination rules, and more. But these laws are caught in a conflict between the states and the federal government. The big problem that I see is that these technologies are changing the way that we interact with each other faster than our lawmakers are able to create laws to rein them in. I mean, that's the reality of it. These opportunities are opening up faster than we're able to identify the scammy ones and the good ones. So we're in a bit of a pickle now because of AI. It's flipping the table on our entire civilization, really. Trump said patchwork state regulation will prevent the US from winning the global AI race by slowing down innovation, which is why the Department of Justice formed a task force to crack down on state AI legislation. The administration's AI action plan, meanwhile, calls for slashing regulations for AI data centers and proposes a new framework to ensure AI models are free from top-down ideological biases, though it's unclear how that would play out. Tech leaders like Apple's Tim Cook, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, you like doing lists in this article, there's lots of lists. OpenAI's Sam Altman, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, name some more for me please, Microsoft's Bill Gates, and Alphabet's Sundar Pichai, and let's not forget xAI's Elon Musk, have met with Trump multiple times since he took office. With an increasingly cozy relationship to the White House, Google and OpenAI have welcomed the push to cut legal red tape around AI development. I would hope then, if they are working closely with the government, that they are enabling the government to have oversight on what dangers they are discovering, because a lot of unknown unknowns will spring out and get us if we're not paying attention. While governments dither on regulation, tech companies have free rein to continue as they please, lightly constrained by a few AI-specific laws. Comprehensive enforceable legislation could control the fire hose of dangerous slop, but as of now, the people responsible for it are either unable or unwilling to do so. This has never been clearer than with the rise of AI deepfakes and AI-powered image-based abuse. Deepfakes are the most insidious form of AI slop. They are images and videos so realistic we can't tell whether they're real or AI generated. We had deepfakes before we had AI, but pre-AI deepfakes were expensive to create, required specialized skills, and weren't always believable. AI changes that, with newer models creating content that's indistinguishable from reality. AI democratized deepfakes, and we're all worse off for it. AI's ability to produce abusive or illegal content has long been a concern. It's why nearly all AI companies include policies outlawing those uses. But we've already seen that their systems meant to prevent abuse aren't perfect. Take OpenAI's Sora app, for example. The app exploded in popularity last fall, letting you make videos featuring your own face and voice and the likeness of others. Celebrities and public figures quickly asked OpenAI to stop harmful depictions of them. Bryan Cranston, the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, and the estate of Martin Luther King Jr. all reached out with their concerns to the company with concerns, double concerns, which promised to build stronger safeguards against their concerning concerns. Disclosure: Ziff Davis, CNET's parent company, in 2025 filed a lawsuit against OpenAI alleging it infringed Ziff Davis copyrights in training and operating its AI systems. Sora requires your consent before letting other people use your likeness. Grok, the AI tool made by Elon Musk's xAI, does not. That's how people were able to use Grok to make AI-generated non-consensual intimate imagery. From late December to early January, a rush of X users asked Grok to create images that undress or nudify people in photos shared by others, primarily women. I think other platforms can be coaxed into doing similar things. Over a 9-day period, Grok created 4.4 million images, of which 1.8 million were sexual, according to a New York Times report. The Center on Countering Digital Hate did a similar study which estimated that Grok made approximately 3 million sexualized images over 11 days, with 23,000 of those deepfake prawn images including children. That's millions of incidents of harassment that were enabled and efficiently automated by AI. The dehumanizing trend highlighted how easy it is for AI to be weaponized for harassment. The perpetrator can be literally anyone, and the victim could be literally anyone, double anyone and everyone. If you have a photo online, you could be a victim of this now, says Danny Pinter, Chief Legal Officer at the National Center for Sexual Exploitation. X did not respond to multiple requests for comment. Deepfakes and consensual intimate imagery are illegal under the 2025 Take It Down Act. But it also gives platforms a grace period until May to set up processes to take down illicit images. The enforcement mechanism in the law only allow for the DOJ and the Federal Trade Commission to investigate these companies, Pinter says, not for individuals to sue perpetrators or tech companies. Neither organization has opened up an investigation yet. Deepfakes hit on a core issue with AI slop, our lack of control. We know AI can be used for malicious purposes, but we don't have many individual levers to pull to fight back. Even looking at the big picture, there's so much turmoil around AI legislation that we're largely forced to rely on the people building AI to ensure it's safe. The current guardrails might work sometimes, but clearly not all the time. Grok's AI image-based sexual abuse was so foreseeable and so preventable, Pinter says. If you designed a car and you didn't even check if certain equipment would explode, you would be sued to oblivion, Pinter says. That is a basic bottom line. Reasonable behavior by a corporate entity, it's like xAI didn't even do that basic thing. The story of AI slop, including deep fakes, is one of AI enabling the very worst of the internet: scams, spam, and abuse. If there is a positive side, it's that we're not yet at the end of the story. Many groups, advocates, and researchers are committed to fighting AI-powered abuse, whether that's through new laws, new rules, or better technology. This author loves lists. We're getting so many lists. Nearly every tech executive who builds AI rationalizes that AI is simply the latest tool that can make your life easier. There's some truth to that. AI will probably lead to welcome progress in medicine and manufacturing, for example, but we've seen that it's a frighteningly efficient instrument for fraud, misinformation, and abuse. So where does that leave us as slop gushes into our lives with no relief valve in sight? We're never getting the pre-AI internet back. The fight against AI slop is a fight to keep the internet human, one we need more now than ever. The internet is inextricably intertwined with our humanity, and we're inundated with so much fake content that we're starving for anything real. Trading instant gratification and the sycophancy of AI for online experiences that are rooted in reality, maybe with a little more friction but also a lot more authenticity. That's how we get back to using the internet in ways that give to us rather than drain us. If we don't, we may be headed for a truly dead internet where AI agents interact with each other to give the illusion of activity and connection. Substituting AI for humanity won't work. We've already learned this lesson with social media. The AI slop ocean that used to be social media is driving us further from the tech's original purpose, connecting people. AI slop is actively trying to destroy that. It's actively trying to replace that part of your feed because your attention is limited, and it's actively taking away the connections that you had. Carrasco says, I hope that AI video and AI slop make people wake up to how far we've drifted. Blimey. Well, they don't like AI. They don't like the sloppy parts of AI, these people. It's a different form of creativity. The AI that I produce for my posters takes a fair bit of effort. The fact that it is much more able to take direction now than a few years ago means I don't have to spend as much time on it, but I still do spend time, first of all, building a static image, which then might be brought into an art editing tool to add specific elements or remove specific elements to then bring it back into the AI. So there are steps involved in getting the idea in your head into reality. So there is an art to it. I know people who don't like AI are inclined to say it's taking creative power away, but actually for me it's actually been a massive creative boon, and for other people as well. So I think you should judge AI video and art based upon the quality of the message that it's pushing through or the content, not the fact that it is AI, because there's some really awesome stuff out there at the moment that's being made with AI. This is a fight you're going to lose, Caitlin Chowdhury and all the other people involved. The best you can do is try and watermark these things and use verification of humanity to try and highlight what is human and go through some process of marketing human contributions as being good and worthy of consumption. Because if somebody's being shown an AI video of spreading peach rings on toast versus IRL recreation of it, most people would scroll past and see them as the same thing and they wouldn't care. So why should you stop on the human-made version and appreciate that more than any other? If the net effect is engaging, that's what's going to grab people's attention. So there needs to be a push to promote the inclusion of humans in every works process. I think we need to create a system similar to what was created for automobiles, where you grade things in horsepower. I think we need to be able to grade things in human power or fractions of human power. What is the human content in this media product that you've created, or what is the AI content? Some estimate on that might be good. And maybe you could even include some tax rebates for media companies that are using a higher made by humans percent. That's a thought, isn't it? I would encourage that. But that is it for now. Make sure you hit that like button if you indeed like me. It's very helpful. You can also follow me wherever you're at. But that is it for now. And the only thing I have left to say is Pigwig out.
Oink, oinkity, snort, snuffle, snuffle, squee, oink, oink, ree, squeal, snort, snort, oinkity, squee. Oink, 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 squee, squee, ree, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinky, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 ree, 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 oh. Snort, snuffle, oink, squee, squeal, ree, snort, oinkity, oinkity, oink, oink, snuffle, ree, squee, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, 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 squee, squee, ree, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinky, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 ree, 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 oh. Oink, oinkity, snort, snuffle, snuffle, squee, oinkity, oink, oink, snuffle, ree, squee, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, 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 squee, squee, ree, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinky, oink, snort, snort, squee, oink, 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 ree, 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 oh. Squeal, squeal. squeak, snort, oink, squeal. Oink, 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 goody, squeak, squeak, re, 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 snuffle, snort, squeal, squeal, oinky, oink, snort, snort, squeak, oink, oink, oink.